Hey there, Adrian here. Welcome to my language series, in which I will deal with all kinds of language questions that I find interesting. In this one, I'm going to read a poem by Marriott Edgar, who was actually Scottish, but he wrote various poems with Lancashire themes. And so this is one of those. Probably the most famous one, called The Lion and Albert. I'm going to read it in my native Lancashire accent, which may not be quite the same as Blackpool or whatever, but it's going to have to do. And for those who are not able to understand this particular accent, I'm going to write out the words of the poem in the comments section, and also a Hungarian translation, which I did, and is not in poetry. It's just sort of rough, pretty rough really, and not necessarily that accurate. And it doesn't reflect the kind of humour that is in there at all, so it might seem a bit dry, but anyway, see what you think. Enjoy it. So, let's get going. There's a famous seaside place called Blackpool that's noted for fresh air and fun. A Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom went there with Albert, their son. A grand little lad was their Albert, all dressed in his best, quite a swell, with a stick with an horse's head handle, the finest that Woolworths could sell. They didn't think much to the ocean, the waves, they was fiddling and small. There was no wrecks and nobody drowned. Fact, nothing to laugh at all. So, seeking for further amusement, they paid and went into the zoo, where there'd lions and tigers and camels, and old ale and sandwiches too. There was one great big lion called Wallace. His nose was all covered with scars. He lay in a somnolent posture, with the side of his face on the bars. Now Albert had heard about lions, how they was ferocious and wild. To see Wallace lying so peaceful, well, it didn't seem right to the child. So straightway the brave little fella, not showing a morsel of fear, took his stick with the horse's head handle and shoved it in Wallace's ear. You could see that the lion didn't like it, for giving a kind of a roll, he pulled Albert inside the cage with him and swallowed the little lad whole. Then Pa, who had seen the occurrence and didn't know what to do next, said, "Mother, yon lion's at Albert." And Mother said, I am vexed." Then Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom, quite rightly when all's said and done, complained to the animal keeper that the lion had eaten their son. The keeper was quite nice about it. He said, "What a nasty mishap. Are you sure it's your little boy he's eaten?" Pa said, "Am I sure? Here's his cap." So the manager had to be sent for. He came and said, "What's to do?" Pa said, "Yon lion's at Albert, and him in his Sunday clothes too." Then Mother said, "Right's right, young fella. I think it's a shame and a sin for a lion to go and eat Albert, and after we've paid to come in." The manager wanted no trouble, and he took out his purse right away, saying, "How much to settle the matter?" Pa said, "What do you usually pay?" But Mother had turned a bit awkward when she thought where her Albert had gone. She said, "No, someone's got to be summoned." So that was decided upon. Then off they went to the police station in front of a magistrate chap. They told him what happened to Albert and proved it by showing his cap. The magistrate gave his opinion that no one was really to blame. He said that he hoped the Ramsbottoms would have further sons to their name. At that, Mother got proper blazing. "And thank you, sir, kindly," said she. "What, waste all our lives raising children to feed ruddy lions? Not me.